you guys, my hair got caught on the door. Like, almost like my angel was like, don't go. And I was just like, I'm going to go. It's going to be okay. I'll just close my eyes on certain scenes that are, maybe demonic or whatever. Or maybe I can play some, because I've done that before too. I played music or played worship music while I was in the theater. But work praying, and I did say Jesus is Lord a couple of times. This is about territory, you guys. It's not about, and for me, it wasn't about being exposed per se. It was about it. This is about territory. You are an intercessor. You are called to be a watchman. The devil doesn't want you in there. He doesn't want you in there calling on the name of Jesus or saying anything or praying under your breath. What you're affecting or possibly keeping or protecting the people that are in there from being contaminated, possibly. But guess what? The next day, same thing that happens if I go. There's churches I can't go to. That if I do go, everything will be fine while I'm there. I'm talking about places that I know that the Lord has said you cannot go there, and it's about territory. That place belongs, even though they're under the banner of God, they may belong to the enemy. It's the enemy's territory. I can't go there. Like, remember in Twilight when they said the Cullens don't come here? Okay, for a reason. There are enemies there.
Lord have mercy, Jehovah. I don't know what is going on. My timeline will not let me rest with all these talks about this Dust Bucket, Angry Bird Bandit production known as the movie called Sinners. Honey, I don't know what the fuck is going on. I'm hearing all kind of different perspectives on the movie. Some people are saying it's so great. They're giving it very high reviews, very high marks. And then you got people getting demon possessed. Getting demon possessions by being in this fucking movie. You got black women over here doing flip-flops and backflips. Not flip-flops. You got black women doing backflips, talking about, this movie is just such a great example of black love, and they got a dark-skinned, plus-size black lady in the role, and they just feel so seen and just so elevated by a movie, because, of course, we all have gotten to this point where we can't have high self-esteem unless we see somebody on the movie that looks like us. But anyways, honey, I wasn't even that interested in this movie when I seen the trailer, and let me tell you why. I seen Michael B. Jordan. I seen that Ryan Coogler had something to do with it, and I don't really like to support these dusty Angry Bird coons that make these movies. I am very, very familiar with the mentality of black men, and I know that when it comes to a lot of these productions that masquerade as being some black empowerment, black love, uplifting movie, it's basically just a banner that is just there to mask a whole bunch of degeneracy and anti-black female rhetoric that's within the movie while masquerading as black love. I've seen it so many different times, and I'm just over it. But honey, I don't know. I've been seeing a lot of chatter online. Like I said, my timeline will not let me rest, and I'm just gonna be really honest. My brother is really the one that kind of, he is very, very. He feels very, very strongly that the movie is good and that I should see it. So I said, you know what? Okay, I'll give my point of view on, I'll watch it and then I'll give it an analysis. And actually, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to, as soon as I watch the movie, I'm going to come on here and I'm going to do a review and give my analysis of what I think this fucking movie is about. Because, honey, on one end of the spectrum, like I said, you got people saying that they like it, and then somewhere in the middle, you got somebody, some people saying that, it was this very uplifting, very empowering. And then on the other end of the spectrum, honey, I heard little Miss Chrissy, honey, the colorism, the colorism madam, the corrective promotion for dark-skinned black women madam herself, honey, little Miss Chrissy. She said it was cap, honey. She said she wasn't falling for the nonsense, and she gave a very good, I think a very good analysis of the movie, just going point by point of, the different events that happened in the movie and giving her analysis on it and all the bullshit. And I actually am going to show some of that, her breakdown on that, on this Sinners movie, but just from the outside looking in, I feel like her video kind of validated feelings about the movie that I already have. So, yeah, that's just that. But girl, let's get into some of these some more of these these analyses, because another aspect of what another point of view that people had is this character that I think the character, his name is Smoke or whatever. His love interest, the plus size lady. A lot of people were saying that they didn't realize that she was a love interest. They saying like, oh, they thought she was Big Auntie, hun. They said they thought they thought this boy was in an incest relationship, kissing on his grandmama. I don't know. Like I said, I gotta see the movie for myself, because I don't understand how you can not, how your level of perception could be that low that you just don't understand like the kind of relationships that these characters are having, unless you were just really stupid. So, but listen, just looking at some of these pictures, I'm just gonna be really honest. I really do see how people feel like she looks like she's a lot older than him. Or she just seems like she's in more of like a matronly, sort of like older woman role. And you know what? The reason why I said that I can see that, it really doesn't have anything to do with the actress herself. It has everything to do with Michael B. Jordan. When you look at Michael B. Jordan, okay, me personally, I get a very boy vibe from him. He's not very masculine. He just gives you very much adolescent boy. And I think, and even though I believe that they're the same age or around the same age, the reason why he seems so much younger than her is because a lot of these angry bird bandits like him, they just exude they exude a very immature man-child energy. And so when you see them together, it just looks like for instance, this picture right here, it just looks like her with her younger brother, because he doesn't seem like a man. He doesn't give a man to me. And this is so funny to me how it's just one of those things that really boggles my mind, how black men overall, and how they can be so worthless and really in reality don't really offer any real value to anybody or any woman, regardless to what race she is. But yet people are talking about Michael B. Jordan like, oh, they were surprised that this woman is that she's cast as his love interest, like as if he's some kind of worth to where this lady would need to be just this top shelf lady to be, cast as his leading lady next to him. Like, he has no fucking worth. Michael B. Jordan is nothing but a fuckboy, dusty bandit, dust bucket, who he looked like, to me, I'm just gonna be real honest, he looked like he'd suck off anything, do anything to get ahead, don't stand for nothing, just a weak, conquered bandit. And honestly, I'm really not trying to bash him, I'm saying, or to bash black men. But this is just the energy he gives me. He gives very much little boy. So I really don't think that like Chrissy mentioned about how they're posed, she's standing next to him or standing up over him like as if she's his guardian protector. I do think that there is some kind of merit to that perspective. It looks like she was shaving him because she is holding a straight razor, so maybe that's the reason why she's standing over him. But anyways, at the end of the day, Michael B. Jordan gives little boy adolescent, and that really is not the fault of the lady. She seems like a grown woman. He seems like a little dusty, angry bird bandit. Okay. So, but anyways, let's get into some, and oh boy, I cannot wait until I watch this movie, because oh my goodness, that right there is going to be some good old drink and chill, commentary I'm going to have I'm going to have fun with this one. Okay. But let's get into some more of these videos, and shout out to this YouTuber right here. This is the video that I'm about to play. This was actually her video. So let's get into it. And sorry, if I'm talking really fast or whatever. Let me, it's just like when I get excited, I just do that or whatever. Anyways, let's get into it.
She looks like an auntie. Why was she chosen? This is embarrassing. How about we start with why seeing a dark-skinned plus-size black woman in a love scene with someone considered mainstream attractive bother you so much?
Yes, I saw Annie and thought that was Big Mama.
Cut all of that. The reason why y'all thought that she was their mom, off of first glance just looking at her, is because she's a larger, darker-skinned black
I've been seeing comment after comment of people thinking it was incest and being like, oh, up until they kissed and stuff, they didn't realize what was happening, or when they kissed, they were like, oh my gosh, she's kissing his mom.
Movies come out, we have seen a lot of people saying, well, I thought Annie was his mama or his aunt. And it's really sad because people are turning it into, well, why would you think that? Like, well, come on, y'all, what's wrong with y'all? It's like, well, that's social programming. This is the product of decades and decades and decades of plus size black women being portrayed only as the mama, only as the auntie, never as a love interest. I don't fully fault people for... And I just want to say, if y'all can hear like this sucking sound in the background, don't mind that. That's just me sucking on this damn vape. Seeing her as the mom or the aunt before a love interest, because that's usually how we're deemed. That's usually how we're seen. Now, you, after a certain point, you're making a choice in how you want to see her, because if listen to a dialogue, you can hear the flirty tension, you can hear and see their chemistry. So it didn't really take long for the audience to recognize that love was there, that wasn't platonic or familial, but romantic. So there are some folks that I'm like, all right, you holding on to that narrative a little bit too long. So I can understand in the first few seconds of seeing Annie and maybe assuming those things, but you watching them talk and interact and you still think, hey, you're on your own with that one. I don't know about that. I picked up quickly that who she was to him. So I can't relate. But it does sadden me that these reactions are indicative of a larger issue, which is the lack of representation in dark skin. Honey, these dusty bandits, and I'm pretty sure a good amount of black women, honey, they was like, if you don't go somewhere and get Lenny Kravitz's daughter and put her in this role, they was like, who is this black bitch, honey? Who is she? I don't know, but when I first seen this video and I see that people had this perspective that they thought this lady was his mama, that shit made me laugh. So I'm like, these people was like, listen, we want what we're used to seeing, okay? We used to seeing these biracial women in the roles, you know, playing like they're a black lady. We don't want this bitch, honey. We don't want her, okay? And then got the nerve to have her be plus size? He was like, if you don't get out of here with this bullshit. In plus size black women being loved properly in media and in real life. Let's wake that up. Let's open that can of worms. I feel as though if we saw more dark-skinned plus size black women being loved romantically and not just the mom and the auntie, that wouldn't be as quick of a correlation either.
I love for a second, and that dynamic between them.
Again, it looked like a grown woman and like, I don't know, let me know if y'all, anybody who see this too, this he gives off so much just weak simp, just the purest form of just the textbook definition of a broken book. It's like the best way that I could describe Michael B. Jordan. And can we really just be honest about it? Michael B. Jordan in his face is the most average looking black actor that is out there currently. Like, I mean, in my opinion, because I really am not that versed on like the new whatever talent, they really don't have, you know, from my perspective, any just real heavy hitter, young, black male actors. But the one who comes to mind is like Denzel Washington's little broken buck son. I think that he's more of a handsome guy than Michael B. Jordan. Honestly, I don't get it. But anyway, let's continue.
Is living rent free in my mind, and I thought we all agreed it was sexy, right? Anybody with sense would think it was sexy. So imagine my dismay when I come to the internet and see that a lot of you are saying that when you first saw Annie on the screen, you thought that she was Smoke's mom or his aunt. Are we watching the same movie? Because did you see how she was talking to him? If your mama or your auntie talks to you the way Annie talks to Smoke, you might want to call the police. This is exactly why I cannot stand fat phobia and colorism and racism and futurism, because it makes you stupid. It makes you miss the obvious. Anybody with eyes to see and ears to hear would immediately pick up on their chemistry.
And let me just say this. I'm sick of seeing Michael B. Jordan with this Haley lady pushed all over TikTok. I'm sorry. Hollywood, I mean, we know that's just what y'all do, but it's irritating, baby. He has just as much chemistry with Miss Annie in that movie just as he did with Lil Mary, Had a Little Lamb. It's so basic, I'm annoyed.
And before anybody gets on Queen Latifah's internet talking about how unrealistic it is that someone like Michael B. Jordan would date a woman like Wunmi or a character like Annie, I need you to understand that despite what white supremacy has taught you, that is a lie. You know how...
And I thought it was really interesting that she brought up Queen Latifah, because I have always, noticed this, that like Queen Latifah is always with the hot guy. She always has the hottest guy, even like when she was on Living Single, and then when she was on that Taxi movie, they always have her with a hot guy. In Last Holiday, she was her love interest was LL Cool J. But another thing, like specifically, like when it comes to Queen Latifah, I feel like even though she is technically plus size, I feel like her being plus size hasn't really, this is just from my perspective, it hasn't really been brought up. Like, it's not really a part of her public persona as much as, like, let's say like a Monique, you know what I'm saying? And really, that's because Monique is constantly always bringing up, that she's fat and talking about skinny girls or whatever. But I feel like with Queen Latifah, even though it's like technically she is plus size, it's like it's not something that is like she's looked at as just being, the fat girl. Is that just me? Or like, is that every other people's perspective? Let me know. But I just feel like that's always been. Now she is on the taller side, so maybe because of her height, like her weight is just, she doesn't look as, as compacted and as her weight is distributed more evenly, so maybe people don't look at her. But I mean, she definitely is a bona fide plus size lady. But honey, I don't know. Let's continue.
I know it's a lie because I've seen your mom list. Can we talk about it? Half of your mothers are a size 14 and up. So while you're pretending that big black bodies are not desirable, your daddies clearly don't agree. Women like Annie getting their cheeks clapped is the reason why half of us are even here. But I get it. In a world full of problematic podcast bros, a lot of you are not going to listen to me making perfectly good sense just because I'm a woman. So how about I play a video of a man saying basically exactly what I just said.
When it came to Michael B. Jordan and Wunmi Musaku, I pray I said her name right. When it came to them on screen, I ain't gonna cap. I ain't understand it. I didn't get the dynamic. I thought she was an auntie. I thought she was a cousin. I even thought she was like an older sister. It wasn't until that scene, you feel what I'm saying, where I was like, that what they got going on. You don't see dark-skinned women. You don't see plus-size women. You don't see women that just got literal natural bodies. Like her body is equivalent to the average person in America. You don't see them bodies playing a lead role. Not with no nigga like Michael B. That shit don't exist. And I know that shit made money.
He's saying that as if like Michael, as if this Dusty Bandit Michael B. Jordan has some kind of value. Again, but this is just the black community.
motherfuckers uncomfortable. Ooh, and I love that shit, nigga. Shout out to Ryan Coogler, bro. This film just validates so many people, man. So many motherfuckers like us. Like us. This movie's for us, man. Go check that shit out.
And before I go, I just want to thank Wunmi Mosaku. I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. In fact, actually, you know what? Let me say her full name, right? I want to thank Onwumi from the House of Mosaku, first of her name, a thick snap truth teller, a sexy soul tie of smoke. Yes, honey. Sis, you are a bold and beautiful embodiment of Black womanhood, and we are honored to speak your name. Thank you so much for bringing Annie to life. And yeah, for those of you who find it hard to believe.
Yeah, she's definitely a gorgeous lady. Beautiful lady, grown woman. I actually think that Michael B. Jordan should have been recast. You know, like, I don't know why. Anyways, let's move on to what Little Miss corrective promotion for dark-skinned black lady Madam, honey, the queen of colorism, honey. Let's see what she got to say about it. And I won't play the whole thing because it's 30 minutes, but I think that she made some good points. And when I watch it, I'm gonna see how much of what she says, you know, I actually will see for myself. But
so this will be my review of the movie Sinners. This will not be a start to finish review. I just want to point out some things in the film that I think are important to my audience in particular. And there will
Why do I use Navan?
also be spoilers in this video. So if you do not want spoilers, click off now. Also, if you want to only hear good things about this movie or the cast, this will not be the video for you. But like my other movie reviews, I will start off with what I liked about the film and then move on to my critiques. So, Sinners is primarily a horror movie written and directed by Ryan Coogler, and it is about twin war veterans Smoke and Stack, both played by Michael B. Jordan, and the movie is set in the 1930s Mississippi during the Jim Crow era. And in a nutshell, the twins are returning to their hometown, Mississippi, after robbing Italian and Irish gangsters in Chicago, and then they use the money to open a juke joint in Mississippi. So the twins' cousin Sammy sings at the juke joint opening night. His music, which has supernatural abilities, summons a vampire, and it goes left from there. And the entire movie is an allegory for cultural appropriation of Black music, Black art, and Black culture. And the vampires in the movie, of course, represent the culture vultures, who are white people, and the system of white supremacy. And even though I do have my issues with the movie, I do think it was well made. My favorite part is the
okay, let's get into the meat.
These Hollywood creatives and their teams are listening to our conversations, so they know now that just overtly displaying dark-skinned women fighting on the front lines for Black men like they did in the Black Panther movie, if they've been listening to us, they know that that wasn't gonna cut it right now. Not in the Black woman soft life era, right? So they had to portray Black women as a softer version of Mammy this time. And they mixed in a little Black love in there and also made you the love interest of the heartthrob in the movie, Michael B. Jordan, who don't even date women who look like the love interest in real life, but whatever. But they mixed that in there to distract you from the fact that Annie was still a mammy. Not in the traditional sense of the word, but a mammy for the Black male collective and everyone else around her. So instead of being on the front lines physically fighting, this time, the Black woman in the movie was the spiritual mammy. She was the hoodoo high priestess who protected the Black men in the film with mojo bags and cooked catfish for everyone at the juke joint and had to school everybody on how to ward off the vampires with holy water and garlic. And notice, Annie's root work protected Smoke from the vampires, but somehow she still got unalived by a vampire and he didn't. So if that isn't a metaphor for Black women protecting Black men from white supremacy and becoming the sacrifice, I don't know what is. And in an interview I read that Wunmi did with the Hollywood Reporter, she actually described Annie being Smoke's protector, his teacher, his lover, his friend, and his mother. So even when a plus-size dark-skinned Black woman is portrayed as the lover to a Black man in the movie, she's still got to be his protector and his mama too. And when it comes to the roles that are given to plus-size women, especially plus-size dark-skinned women, they just have to make them a mammy in some.
Oof. honey, when I first was listening to this video and she started breaking it down, showing these pictures, I was like, ooh, girl, honey, this bitch is calling these bandits out, honey. She said, I am not falling for the bullshit. Because, you do find it a lot, in Hollywood. It's like they do like to package up a whole bunch of bullshit, and put it in this nice, fancy, wrap it in this nice fancy wrapping paper and, act like it's just something that it really isn't. I don't know, honey. It's seeming like that to me in this particular picture. It's like, so that's why I kind of disagree with people who, are saying like, oh, people thought that, Annie was the mother because, they just have fat phobia. No, it's because that's what the movie was trying to slant towards, okay? And Chrissy does bring up, that, and with Annie being the main character, the main love interest, they should have prettied her up, a little bit more than she was. And I completely agree. Obviously, she is a beautiful lady. She's a gorgeous lady, full-figured woman. But they could have prettied her up. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, this is a timepiece. And so, obviously, the women are not going to be, looking like Instagram thoughts. But, this is a timepiece. But they could have made her more prettied up. More... I can't even think of a better word other than prettied up, because it's not like she's ugly or anything like that. But it's like, I guess her style is just, it looks more matronly, and they could have made her look a little less so.
Capacity. They just can't be a lover in movies like other races of women are portrayed. And at this point, I believe Ryan Coogler specifically likes to portray dark-skinned women as protectors of black men, because that's pretty much what he did in Black Panther. And I don't want black women to get so caught up in the sex scene of this movie and the black love in this movie that y'all miss that. And I saw where black women on TikTok were mad about people thinking that Annie was Smoke's mama or his auntie or his bigger sister and not his lover. And it sparked this whole discussion about the mommification of plus-size black women, and especially plus-size dark-skinned women, and how nobody feels like they are deserving of love. And I do agree with that. I don't think most people are used to seeing women like Wunmi as love interests, and I think for some people, their internalized bias threw them off. However, I think that we as black women also need to be honest about the imagery in this film. Even in the promo pictures that they did of Smoke and Annie, she gave off a very motherly vibe. And she was standing up and he was sitting down. I mean, she kind of did look like his mama. And then when you compare these pictures to the promotional imagery of Stack and Mary, you can see the differences. They intentionally made Annie look matronly and motherly and mammy-ish on purpose because that was part of her role. She wasn't just Smoke's lover. Like Wunmi said in the interview, she was his protector and his mama too. And that is how black men see a lot of dark-skinned plus-size black women in real life. And we also have to be honest about the fact that when extra weight is on a person's body, it does tend to age them, no matter the race or gender. So that's another thing that contributed to Annie being mistaken as Smoke's mother or his auntie. So with that being the case, they should have gone the extra mile to make her look more like a lover. Not saying she was supposed to be in full-on glam, but that sex scene with her and Smoke was hot. So I think they could have done more to make her look more youthful and sexy to match that energy. Not overly sexy, but just a little bit more oomph like they did with Perlene and Mary. And they definitely could have done that with a plus.
Ugh, Michael B. Jordan is such a beta. Ugh, God.
Woman. They did do much better with her appearance at the ending scene when she was in the afterlife with the baby, but in the rest of the movie, she did look matronly, and they did that on purpose. And dark-skinned plus-size black women need to stop allowing them to play y'all like this, especially if you're complaining about being mommified. Tell them to step it up. Don't just accept the bare minimum. Dark-skinned plus-size black women can be promoted with sex appeal too, even in period pieces. We also have to be honest about how they would never have cast a matronly plus-size white woman to play a love interest for a fit, muscular man like Michael B. Jordan. And even if they did, they would have probably found a way to make her sexy. And have any of you questioned why Mary wasn't plus-size? They could have gotten a plus-size white woman to play her, but they didn't. Why? So black women, you gotta recognize when they are low-key downplaying your beauty and undermining you with white women. And for the people who are gonna say, oh, well, Annie represents the everyday black woman. Okay, but Mary doesn't represent the everyday white woman, though. So if we're going with the everyday woman talking point, cool. Then a plus-size white woman should have been cast as Mary. And don't tell me that they don't exist, because the average woman in America is size 16 or 14, I believe. And that includes white women, that includes non-black women. And we know many black men in real life date overweight white women. So if it's all about representing the reality, then that should have been in the film.
Ooh, goodness gracious, that statement, it just brought back the Who They Really Choose series. Like, am I the only one that misses Cynthia G's Who They Really Choose series? Oh goodness, man, I wish those videos were still up
as well. And this is no shade to one me or any fat women of any race or color, but I do notice that fat white women and mixed women are rarely cast as love interests. So I would like to see them represented in the same way fat black women are represented. And also as love interests for fit, muscular men. And again, because I know y'all mad, this is not me saying that plus size black women, plus size dark skinned women can't be beautiful or can't be love interests. But if you want effective promotion, black women, it needs to be more balanced when black women are in film next to non-black women as main characters. So that means either they need to put more fat non-black women next to slim black women, and if a plus-size woman is promoted next to a slim, feminine white woman, she needs to look good as fuck, not matronly like a mammy. That is the only way black women's promotion is going to be corrected, ladies. And for those who are going to say, oh, well, how is Annie undermined when Perline was there? Perline definitely balanced out the promotion somewhat, optics-wise, because, again, her character had flaws too. But optics-wise, she did balance it out somewhat. But the love interest of the quote-unquote heartthrob matters most. I'm not saying that Perline was insignificant, but whoever the love interest of the heartthrob in a film or show is, holds the most weight in the eyes of most people. So in this case, the heartthrob is Smoke and Stack, or Michael B. Jordan. So that's another reason why people thought Annie was Smoke's mama. They were subconsciously comparing her to Mary because she was the other main love interest. And when it comes to Perline, which was played by Jamie Lawson, she was the Jezebel in the film, if you noticed. And I saw where people were calling Perline the Jim Crow 304 and harping on her being married and having an affair with Sammy. But they forget that Mary, the white woman character, was married just like Perline. But nobody is calling her a 304. Why? Because the representation was different. Even though, you know, I think all the women in this movie were a little bit freaky, and they were definitely sexual, well, most of them in the movie, they still portrayed Mary as someone who was genuinely in love with Stack and wanted a relationship with him. But, you know, circumstances just wouldn't allow them to be together as an interracial couple. But they portrayed Perline as someone who just wanted to have a good time and just have a fling with another man at the juke joint. A virgin at that, because I think Sammy was a virgin at the time. And so, you know, Perline just wanted to have fun and be a Jezebel singer who likes to gyrate on stage. And they also made sure to show her as a vampire attacking everybody with the white vampires at the end. So basically, the non-mammy, free-spirited black woman in the movie was not only the Jezebel that cheats on her husband, but she was also symbolic of the traitor, or maybe even the coon that joins the white people to take black people down. And yes, there were other black people who turned into vampires as well. I'm just highlighting the symbolism behind the two dark-skinned woman main characters and how they align with how dark-skinned women are viewed by black men in the black community in real life, and how they expect us to be and how they view us when we are and aren't mammies. It's like when we aren't mammies, then we're traitors, right? Or Jezebels. I also noticed that both Annie and Perline's death were the most gruesome compared to the other women who were unalived in the film. And then Smoke unaliving Annie after she was bitten by the vampire because she told him she didn't want to come back as a vampire. To me, that was symbolic of the black woman's sacrifice for black men as well, and their failures being the primary reason for our condition as women and as a community, because he was the reason that she was even there. The twins were the reason that all those women were there and got So that's another takeaway, ladies. Stop following these niggas. But yeah, so even though the two dark-skinned women were love interests, there were still a lot of missed opportunities to bring more quality to their characters, in my opinion. But, you know, we really can't expect much coming from movies written and directed by black men. So none of this surprises me. And I know a lot of black women don't like what I'm saying right now, but since you're complaining about how your promotion is being perceived, and you're complaining about being mommified and all that stuff, I'm giving you the game on how to fix it. Y'all gotta compete. You have to improve your promotion and stop undermining yourself and allowing your image to be undermined. You have to stop accepting the bare minimum, ladies. I am just saying the quiet part out loud because nobody is gonna be honest about it. This is how all races of women play the promotional game. And black women still have not caught on to it. So I'm putting you on so you can jump in the game. You don't just want promotion. You want effective promotion. You want corrective promotion. And corrective and effective means that we aren't being undermined in any way by the non-black women in the film because the media rarely ever allows non-black women to undermine us. So we shouldn't allow that shit either. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with any of these women in the film, any of the dark-skinned women in the film in real life. This is just about how they're being used in the movie. And I'm pointing all of this out because I want black women to look beyond the black love in this movie and not just accept these kind of roles because black women are being cast as love interests. The quality of the roles matter and the optics matter as well. And I don't know if any of you picked up on it, but I noticed this anti-money messaging in the film and this narrative, you know, money is the root of all evil. That was heavily pushed in this movie, especially.
Honey, this bitch, she was picking up all these little crumbs that these dust buckets was putting in this movie and that's a very true thing. And you know, these dust buckets, they cannot stand for a black woman to want to want more than just a subpar, you know, a man that has just a subpar bank account, and they just cannot stand these. That is one of the biggest banes of their existence, honey, is a black woman that wants a rich man, honey. But yes, okay, so I'm going to play a little bit more of it because my video is getting very long, and I'm just gonna conclude after that. A few more minutes.
When it came to Annie's character specifically, when Smoke tried to give Annie the money and provide for her, she refused it. And she said she didn't take Smoke's money because it was cursed, but she damn sure took the deed though. You won't take cursed money, but you backing it up on cursed team. Make it make sense. The money is evil and cursed, but the man who robbed the gangsters to get the money ain't evil and cursed. Then you left with his curse behind.
Good point. Good point.
And being with him got you unalived by the vampires. Does that sound familiar, ladies? Same stuff, different time period. Art imitates life. Y'all out here sacrificing yourself for these niggas. That's the message. That's the metaphor. And you know, it's so interesting that black men get mad when black women lust over thugs and bad boys. And then they release these movies that depict black women lusting over thugs and bad boys, and they romanticize their lifestyles. And then when black women act it out in real life, and somebody gets hurt or unalived, then it's, oh, y'all should have chose better. But this is the kind of entertainment that black men keep making for black women to consume and romanticize. Because regardless of if this film was set in the Jim Crow South, Smoke and Stack were definitely the thugs of that time. They were the black community thugs of the Jim Crow South. They just wore suits instead of hoodies and white tees. And so it's wild how black people act like money is so immoral, but don't practice morality in any other area. They rob, steal, and kill, put that in their entertainment for black people to consume, but money is where y'all draw the line? That doesn't make sense. And the moral of the story is Annie's so-called morality and refusal to take Smoke's cursed money, that did not save her. And black women, that should be one of the takeaways from this movie, in my opinion. Because a lot of y'all are too hung up on morals and then don't even follow through with it. Y'all participate in this faux morality and then you still end up losing and becoming the sacrifice. And I feel like the money is the root of all evil narrative being pushed in this movie is to kind of keep black people believing that money doesn't matter when it matters a lot. Now, should we worship money and put money above everything in the world? No. But it matters, especially when it comes to black women choosing men to date and have children with. It's not inherently moral to birth children into poverty. Struggling financially is not inherently moral or righteous. And see, movies like this is how they convince black women of that nonsense. They'll put in these non-black woman characters like Mary and Grace in this movie, and they'll show them prioritizing money, and then they'll somehow link them doing that to their demise. And that's to send the message to black women specifically that money is evil, so that we will continue to believe that wanting money or wanting a man with money is wrong or cursed. And we don't realize that this is just them trying to condition us to deal with broke men and prioritize sex and attraction over money the way that Annie did in this film.
Okay, y'all, I'm gonna stop it right there, honey. The colorism queen has spoken, and listen, I agree with just about everything that she said. You know, and mind you, I haven't seen the movie, but unless this bitch is lying about, you know, what actually happened in the movie, I would say that, you know, just from the outside looking in, it seemed like she was kind of on point with everything that she was saying, honey. And let me tell you something else that I enjoyed about her analysis. You know, in an age where everyone has to censor what they say, you know, they always are, you know, coming up with cold words and stuff like that. You know, you can't say, you know, someone was, you have to say someone was unalived and all this other stuff. This bitch, honey, she came right out the back, honey, calling these bandits niggas, honey. It was funny to me because it's been a while since I actually heard someone say that. Usually they'll say like ninja or something like that, but honey, she said these niggas, honey. But yes, okay. Let me know what do y'all think about it? Was she right or was she wrong? I think it was a lot of merits to what she said, and I definitely will come back on here and give my own personal review of this movie. But until then, I hope y'all was entertained. Let me know your thoughts on it, and I will see you in the next video.